it's still a wonderful world, you know? It's still a good world where I can, where I can feel like, there's a presence of something better. There's something out there that's pulling us all to be better. And it's tough to remember sometimes. It really is. And, I'll walk away from a story and I'll be angry. Frankly, I'll tell you, I'll be angry at God sometimes. A few years back, there was a fire on East 87th Street, killed 9 people, 8 of them were children. And we had just moved to Cleveland. I had a 2-year-old son at the time, So this was the first time I had really covered an event like this as a father. And I sat there at that story, and there were these vigils and everything else. And up to that point, out of 15 plus years, I'd never cried on a story. I've done some pretty significant stories.
Sure.
Never cried on one. I covered 9/11. Didn't shed a tear. Awful, awful tragedy. But something about that really hurt me because they were kids. They were innocents, And there was some part of me that was kind of looking up at the heavens and screaming my head off and going, how could you let this happen? How could you let this happen? And then after you get past that, then you're amazed at how the families are coping with this. And you're amazed at how the community is pulling together. And you're amazed at how it suddenly changes everything. A neighborhood that had been fractured by violence and poverty and almost every other social ill you can imagine suddenly wakes up and realizes, you know what, we're all in this together and we have to be working together. Every time there's a tragedy, every time there's something that happens that really shakes people at their core, it never fails. There's a peace that follows it. It's noticeable. It's almost, thick with, it's almost like you can touch it. And I don't think I like the process. I don't like being there because, it really does get you to really sort of think about the world you're living in. But the peace that follows it is also just this wonderful reminder, that there is a God, and He cares. And that is what keeps me going in terms of my work, and it's wanting to be part of that.